Happy Halloween and welcome to Union Insider presented by Independence Boo Cross. I'm Sage Hurley. Seb and Sheanon will join me in a bit, but we wanted to clear the penalty area here in the opening segment to give you a full recap of a frenetic, frenzied, and ultimately fun-filled shootout win for the boys in blue. Your commentators for this one were Steve Cangelosi and Danny Higginbottom. Here's all the biggest moments of the Union's Game 1 win over Chicago.
It is a gorgeous fall night on the banks of the Delaware River in their navy blue kit. The Union intentionally play the ball out.
And they know when to make the runs as well.
Signal by Milan Iloski, who takes that. Second ball in the air. This is brought down. What a strike out of midair, just wide of goal. Lukic.
Oh, we had a wonderful view of it. Amazing strike. Chicago, they think they've done well, but what Philadelphia Union do, they round the box off, and it goes then out to Lukic, and what a strike this is.
The dummy there by Bamba, nobody on the other end of it except the kit in navy blue. Back the other way, the Union look to hit on the far side. Floated across, Vasilev settles, shoots, goal! Indiana Vasilev! There's the breakthrough, 70th minute. And finally the Philadelphia Union give these fans reason to erupt. It's a 1-0 game. From St. Louis City, what a moment for him.
Well, the goal is from Vasilev, but this is all about the substitute. Can you stretch the game? Can you get defenders running back towards their own goal?
Gutierrez sees Danley turn with it. Jean-Jacques leaves that for Lukic, and Bariba plays this ahead. Here come the Union back the other way. They have 5 into the attack. This ball played across, goal! What a shot! What a finish! Philadelphia up by 2. Milan Iloski.
What a finish it is as well from Iloski. But Chicago, they get caught between a rock and a hard place. They've transitioned from a 3 to a 4, but you've got Gutman, he's still playing like a wing-back. He's not got back, but take nothing away from Iloski here to get the better of Elliott. That extra touch which gets it out of his feet. Then he finds the top corner. Brilliant skill from Iloski. 2-0 to Philadelphia Union, but it was all about Chicago getting caught between a 3 and a 4, and Iloski taking full advantage and doubling Philadelphia Union's lead. And what a strike that is. Brady, one of the best goalkeepers in MLS, absolutely no chance.
Now the ensuing corner. If the Fire are going to make noise, it has to happen quickly. And that shot off the post. The rebound is sent in.
The post, and this will be the one that gives it. Just watch 19 near Blake. It's going to be so close, this one. Is he in an offside position? It's difficult to tell from this angle. Elliott gets up really well.
Here's Jonathan Bamba, second half stoppage time. The Fire looking for the equalizer. Blake in the line of fire. Wall does its job. Bamba, Elliott gives it a go, keeps it low and scores! Jack Elliott, miraculous stuff. The former Union man back in Chester, and amazingly levels the match at 2.
Unbelievable. I said that he's taken a few free kicks before, but I wasn't expecting this. He will never hit a sweeter strike in his life. Unbelievable strike. From the second it left his boot, it was going into the far corner. You can hear a pin drop right now, but what a finish that is.
Here's Wagner, and emotionally now, as Wagner has fallen, he's giving some back to Gutierrez. Has to be careful now. Both sides do as tempers flare.
It was Gutierrez and Wagner initially.
And out of the pocket is a red by Boyko.
Yeah, and it looks like it's for Orahel as well because of his reaction to Wagner. There is no need to get involved in whatsoever. And I think it's the simple fact of when he gets up, you just see Orahel, he's miles away from the situation. Then he comes in, and then there's the push.
Round 1, saved by Brady. Big moment for Chris Brady to start the shootout for the Fire. Round 1. Saved by Blake. There's the answer. Mean for Philadelphia. Steps up. Strong penalty. Philadelphia Union put one by Brady. And a bit of a change of tactics by Greg Berhalter, but here he is now. Shoots and scores as Blake guesses wrong.
It's a great penalty as well, right into the corner.
What seemed to be an insurmountable lead, it was not. The Fire had answers. Iloski fires and scores. Strong penalty by Milan Iloski. Strong playoff opener for that man.
Ball to his teammate. It's a good penalty from Iloski. Really good penalty. Then when it comes out, he grabs hold of the ball to go and give it to Blake. Brady's having none of it. He's like, no, 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 no.
In the bottom of round 3, Kuiper shoots. Oh, Blake got a piece of it. Not enough. It went right through the keeper. And we're level. A couple of seconds of extra delay. In the meantime, it's going to be Ty Baribo, round 4 for Philadelphia. He converted his lone penalty attempt in the regular season, and he does so here in a big spot. Waterman, put it off the bar!
Well, he sends Blake the wrong way. The crossbar.
Looking to give the Union the advantage before they head for the Windy City. Looking to give them the Game-1 victory here. Jesus Bueno says goodnight. Philadelphia Union needed the penalty shootout, but they win Game-1.
I have goosebumps all over again, but we'll be back in a flash. As we head to break, here's this week's trivia question presented by United Concordia. Which Union player finished in the top 5 in goals per 90 minutes this season? The answer is later in our show. Union Insider is back after this. Back with an updated series schedule for you. The Union's Game-1 win means they can clinch with a victory in Game 2 in Chicago tomorrow. If need be, a deciding Game 3 would happen a week later, November 8th at Subaru Park, where the Union have been pretty much unbeatable all this year. Back here on the set, Seba and Sheanon joining me to talk through everything they saw in Game 1. Seba, the Philadelphia Inquirer, wrote that Game 1 felt like 4 different games all in one. Would you agree?
Yeah, I feel 4 different type of emotion. I think we were, first half, not really happy about the team play. It was not a lot of opportunity from the goal. Then, getting those 2 goals and being up, we were feeling pretty good about it. We're like, okay, we're gonna get the Game 1, and then Chicago coming back with those 2 late goals, and you feel the doubt coming into the thing, and then the emotion of the PK. It's always something, a flip of the coin. But luckily, we got the win. It's the only thing we're going to remember. First game of the series, we get the win. It was very important. Now we can go to Chicago with a little bit less pressure, but getting ready to try to close it in 2 games.
Now, Chicago played like a team that won 9 road games this season, and a team confident enough to keep playing, having gone down 2 goals. With the Union having a 2-goal lead early in the game. Chicago had to deal with losing a player early during warm-ups. Zinker-Nigel was unable to play. As a player yourselves, what does that kind of thing do to a team's mindset when you lose one of your key pieces before the game even begins?
You're definitely obviously thinking about it. He's obviously the big piece of Chicago's offense that they were missing and wasn't able to go. And to find that out in warm-ups, you're trying to scramble to get somebody else in his place and get that player warmed up and ready to go for the game. I thought Chicago came into the game with a really good game plan just to keep numbers behind the ball, really frustrate this Union team and see if they couldn't pick off a couple goals. They got one on a set piece, 2 on the set piece. 1 was off the rebound, obviously. But again, I thought they did a good job of coming in, sticking to their game plan. The Union did enough to get them out of that by scoring, but then after you give up the 2 goals, they did a great job to refocus, get into the PK shootout, and make sure that they left with a win.
Now, this was a tight game until Mikel Ua's entrance, an immediate impact. His setup on Indy Vasilev's goal was crucial and really what the Union had been missing in the attack. What do you think about his impact? Seba?
Yeah, the thing is when you have Michael coming, he offers a different type of runs, as a forward. He's more vertical, he takes the space, and having Chicago kind of pushing, to try to get a win, we did a better job in the second half to winning the ball and playing some vertical pass directly, to the striker, and of course, to the wide midfielder like we saw with the goal of Iloski. But Ua, coming in, kind of stretch a little bit more the defense and give us that option that we win the ball, we can find him, and it's what happened on the first goal of Vasilev. A great ball from him, on the right side. Then he did a great job, something we didn't do in the first half as well, like taking some composure, taking his time to see and wait for the run in the box, because in the first half I think we were a bit too quick, trying to play right away when we were in the box, and it was nobody from the Union to be able to finish. On this one, Ua came on, great composure, coming back on the left foot and then deliver a beautiful cross to the back post to Vasilev, who did the rest. But it's kind of those type of moments you want in a team when you know that maybe your starter don't do the job. Whoever play next, this time is Ura again coming in the game and making a big difference for the team.
We talked about who the X factor would be in last week's show. The fans, check mark, great job, the place was bouncing. The other answer I got was Milan Ilaski, who scored off a great individual effort that I think you'd both agree he's probably the only player on the Philadelphia Union's roster that could have done that.
Yeah, he was Sheanon's answer, last weekend, great pick from Sheanon. He's been on fire, since he's been in the team. But you can see the difference. First half, Milanowski not really in his touch, seeing the game, you can see a bit downing, not finding the ball in the right spot, kind of not having the best touch. But then second half, completely changed, where he was, in the game, trying more to go in the pocket, and we were able to find him more. And then he did a great thing, with his goal, of course, but he was kind of giving more option to the team offensively. And with his talent, when then the confidence come back for any players, you can see that right now he's on fire, and whatever he does, works. So hopefully he keeps going.
So last one before we move on, who had the better post-penalty moment? Was it Frankie Westfield's stare down or Jesus Bueno and his goodnight kiss?
For me, it's got to be Jesus Bueno. I think being the fifth PK taker, you take on that responsibility to really end the game. He seems really comfortable to do it, and that's a great thing to have in your team, especially when you go into a big pressure moment like PK's is. So for me, it's Jesus Bueno.
Yeah, both are my guys. I think Jesus Bueno was pretty good, and the Westfield, just with his young age, being able to come in the game as well as a sub. He almost, got the winner at the last second, missed the volley, and then PK Shootout, getting, right in the middle, and like you say, having a little work with the goalkeeper staying at him. It's always nice for the fan, and like you said, the fan did a great job, so he kind of brings the atmosphere even bigger for the next shooter of Chicago.
Turning our attention to Game 2, it's a chance for the Union to close things out and avoid a do-or-die Game 3 back here in Philadelphia next weekend. I spoke with striker Ty Baribo after training this week on the focus this team has going into Game 2 in Chicago.
I think we should play the same. First half was tough. They were spending a lot of time, and we didn't create too much. But second half we started to play our soccer. We moved the ball a lot of deep movement. I think we should stick with that. Of course, we need to take care of the set pieces. This is what brought them to the game, but I think we should fight the same, play the same, and I believe that we are able to win.
Now that you have the advantage, is there a sense of urgency to get it done in 2 games?
I think we want to win every game. It doesn't matter second. We don't think about the third game. Obviously, Chicago, it's a good team. We respect them, but like every game also in the regular league, when we play away, we want to win.
So, like I said, it was a battle until the very end there at home. But a lot of different players got to see the field and got the opportunity to step up in big moments. Even the guys that came off the bench were contributing to goals, and then Chuchu and Frankie step up in the shootout. How important do you think it was for guys to be able to get that playoff experience going into the rest of this run?
Yeah, I think it's very important also, like all the rest of the team. I think we have a good bench. It doesn't matter who starts. We have a really good squad, and it doesn't matter who will play. I'm sure that we will show our soccer no matter with which name will be on the back of the jersey. And it's important for the guys also that came inside that they show character as well. They fight for each other, like with all of us. And again, it's playoff. It's different.
Still to come on Union Insider, Seba, Sheanon, and I will dive into the Game 2 matchup between the Union and Fire and provide their keys to a Union closeout victory. That and more when we return. We're back with this week's Union Update presented by Torque. The Union 2 boys are through to the semifinals of the MLS Next Pro playoffs. Daz Korzanowski coming through again with a clutch penalty kick strike to secure the 1-0 victory for Ryan Richter's team. Up next is a date with Red Bulls 2 this Saturday at 7 p.m. at Sports Illustrated Stadium with a trip to the MLS Next Pro final on the line. It's time for our keys to the match presented by Subaru. Seba, what is your key to a Philadelphia Union Game 2 win?
I mean, we heard it a little bit earlier from Ty Baribo. For me, they need to be better on set pieces. At the end of the game, and even during the game, we saw that Chicago, with their size, was much better than Union, winning the first ball, and it's how they score, their first goal coming back in a game. So can we be a little bit tougher, to beat on those set pieces, because they are going to bring, a lot of players into the box, especially if they need to win that game. So we need to be better on those set pieces, and offensively as well. It's not just defensively. I think the delivery should be a little bit better, and the run in the box should be a bit better from, the Union player, because I think we could score as well on set pieces, because usually when the team is very good, defensively, they are not thinking, we can beat them on it. So if we have a good delivery, I think maybe we could score as well on the good set pieces.
Sheanon, what's your take?
For me, it's going to be using these wide areas to exploit Chicago. I thought that they did a better job in the second half using the wide areas. Want to see them do that more, especially if Chicago stays in this back three. Can they pull those center backs apart and then look to play off that? I think if they can use the wide areas a little bit better than they were able to do over this past weekend, that they can get this Game 2 win.
Is there any lineup changes for Philadelphia that you could foresee happening? We already know Chicago will be dealing with a red card that they earned late in the game.
I mean, it could be, as a forward for the Union, we all know the front three is always a good rotation. So depending on how, the approach of the game is from Bradley Carnell, we can see maybe Michael was starting on top. We can see maybe a different right back, as Nathan Ariel could be switched, with Frankie Westfield as well, depending on what is, thinking, defensively and offensively for the team. And of course, like at the center midfield, you can see maybe Vasilev coming in the center midfield. We can see maybe Cavan Sullivan, playing a little bit more. But it just depends, I think, of the matchup and what they are going to see. But we probably will see maybe one or two change. That's my only thing, because when you are in a role, usually the coach likes to always, keep almost the same starting 11.
I know you were a defender, Sheanon, but there's been a lot of rotation between the striker core for the Philadelphia Union. Do you think we could see a switch there?
Yeah, I think that Michael Lewis definitely put his name in the ring to be a starter for this group. I think he's done a great job coming off the bench and just adding something to the game, whether it be assists or goals. I think he's done a really good job to just accept his role, and I think that he can be the difference in this next game.
How much of a factor, if any, do you think the weather is going to be? Because it's looking like a high of 51, a low of 39 currently for Bridgeview this Saturday. I know I'm going to be bundled up.
Boy, I mean, Sheanon, we can talk about it because we are playing the stadium a lot of time, and it's the craziest weather I've been, I think, in Chicago. I think one game we had the snow, the rain, the wind, and like the ice storm. So it's even almost a tornado happened. So it depends for me about the wind. If the wind is strong, it's going to be maybe a tough half if you play against it towards having the wind with you. So let's see. But it's not as cold as it could be. So I think they'll be fine. You'll be okay, Sedge on the sideline. But yeah, it's always tough to play over there.
One more hydration break to sneak in. When we return, we'll get Seba and Sheanon's final predictions for Game 2 of the Union Series with Chicago. Union Insider is back in a bit. Back with the answer to this week's trivia question presented by United Concordia. Earlier we asked you, which Union player finished in the top 5 in goals per 90 minutes this season? The answer, Milan Ilaski, who finished third with 1.01 goals per 90 minutes this season, along with the likes of Leo Messi, Thomas Muller, Heung-min Son, who helped round out the top 5. Not bad for company for the Union's resident goal-scoring machine. Final segment here on Union Insider. Seba and Sheanon back with me to wrap things up. Let's get right to this week's Halloween-inspired final whistle topic brought to you by Allstate. Guys, Jovan Lukic hit a ball in Game 1 that if it would have gone in, it would have brought the house down. My question to both of you is, do you have a miss that still haunts your dreams?
I don't know, we talk about it. I'm going to let Sheanon go first. We talked about it before the show. I don't know, I might copy his answer, but it's not one of my miss, but I'm going to let him first.
It's not a single miss. It's more of a game that haunts me, and that's that U.S. Open Cup final against Seattle. Had a chance to win it at the end. Vincent ends up hitting the post. We end up going into overtime, and we don't end up sealing the deal. So that, for me, is the haunting miss, us not sealing the deal and bringing back that first U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the same. It's very devastating. It took me a couple of weeks to get past this game. Like Sheanon said, we were giving everything in the first 90 minutes, and the post, hitting by Vincent Nogueira, my French, friend who just hit it, almost hit the second one, and don't see this ball, going in was devastating because then went to overtime and. Seattle with their sub get the difference and get the win. But yeah, if we put this ball in the net, we will have, get the first trophy as a player of the Philadelphia Union. So yeah, it was a little bit devastating for sure.
All right, quick final prediction. Do the Union get it done in Chicago tomorrow?
I think so. I think Chicago need to bring, numbers forward and kind of let some space behind. So if we can have a great counterattack, I think we'll be able to get the win and getting into games.
I think they get it done in Chicago. I think this is a team that does a great job on the road being prepared, and I think that they'll find a way to get this job done.
That'll do it for us. For Seba, Sheanon, and our whole team, I'm Sage Hurley. Enjoy Game 2 tomorrow night, everyone. We'll be back this time next week to talk all about it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.